To maintain the flow in our program, and if you want to ask the user to decide something in our program based on which our program should work, conditional statements helps us a lot. And in this module we will be discussing about conditional statements, the types of conditional statements and how we can use them in different use cases. So hello everyone and a very warm welcome to WsCube Tech. My name is Ayushi Jain, and as I said, in this module we will be discussing about conditional statements thoroughly. Before that, if you want to become a successful data analyst and if you want to learn from our experts live, then you can call on the number given on the screen, or you can fill the form below provided in our description. Not just that, with our every batch you will be getting 2 demo classes for free. So now let's get started. Starting with a new topic that is called as conditional statement. Conditional statements here allows our computer to execute a program only if a condition is true. If it is not true, what does it do? It comes out of the body of that condition and executes the next part of the program. So here we have enlisted 6 types of conditional statement. We have if-the statement, we have if-else statement, we have if-elif-else statement, we have nested statement, we have shorthand if statement and shorthand if-else statement. Of conditional statements we will be talking about its first type, that is if-the statement. Now what is if-the statement? If-the statement is a very simple one-line statement where you write a if, we give a condition, and if it is true, the computer executes it. If it is not true, it can't do anything at all. Now talking about conditional statements. And inside conditional statements, we are talking about if-the statement. Now, what is this if-the statement? How it is written down? Let's consider an example. I am taking a variable called as marks. Let's say someone has scored 75 marks. Okay. I'll give a condition over here that if marks are greater than 80, in that condition, friends, you can buy a new phone. So only if a person is getting more marks than 80, then only he is getting a new phone, else, okay, use your old phone. So I'm gonna run this code and let's see what happens. It's not doing anything. Why? Because the marks are 75. Let's see what if the marks are 90. Let's say a student has now studied for this exam very hard and scored 90 marks. And once I run it, it gives me the output, you can buy a new phone. So it is only executing it when the given condition is that if marks are greater than 80. If it is true, then only it will execute what is there inside the body of if. If it is not true, if it is not satisfied, it won't do anything at all. If I would have written anything inside the print statement at the bottom, let's say thank you, and I have changed the marks bar to 75 and I'll run the code, it only prints thank you because whatever the given condition was, it was not satisfied. So Python automatically moved out of the body of if and came back to thank you. And if it was again back to 90, so if I run it, I get the output, you can buy a new phone, thank you. Right? So this condition is only working if whatever condition we have given is satisfied. This is called as if-the statement, where we only give one condition to our Python to execute. Okay. Now what is if-else statement? If-else statement is used when we have 2 conditions, when we want to give 2 conditions to the computer, that in this, when we know ki any one of these conditions will be satisfied. If not this, then definitely this will be satisfied. Let's talk about a number being positive or negative. So if a number is not positive, then definitely it's negative, or if a number is not negative, then definitely it's positive. Same goes for odd and even. If a number is even, it is not odd, and if a number is odd, it is not even. So we know that it will be either this or either that. So here we are giving 2 conditions to the computer. And if one of our given condition is false, the computer automatically executes the another condition. Right. Now let's see how to write it down. So in our conditional statements, I will be adding this new topic, that is if-else statement. How to write an if-else statement? Let's say I'm considering the same example which I took in the previous session, that is marks. Let's say someone has scored 75 marks. I'll give a condition over here that if marks are greater than 80, in that condition, print again, we are presenting the person with a new phone. So we'll write, you will get a new phone. But what if a person is not getting more than 80? So either it can be more than 80 or less than 80. There is nothing in between, right? So else, one thing to remember about else, that with else we never write any condition. It is a rule. If you will write any condition with the else, it will throw an error. Suppose even if I try to write if else marks are smaller than 80, you can see there is a red line which is completely telling me, okay, this is the error. We don't have to give any condition with the else. And in the context of English language also, if and with the else we never give any condition. So yes, if and else. So if a person is not getting good marks, that is maybe he's getting less than 80, then we will snatch the phone that he already has. So you will not use your phone for a week. Okay, that's a good punishment, it seems. So if I run the code, it says you will not use your phone for a week because the person has scored 75. At the same time, if a person has scored 82. In that condition, if I run the code, it gives me you will get a new phone. So this is how conditional statement, if-else statement is written, where you provide with two conditions. One which if not happens, then the second one definitely happens. That where we have two choices, that if one is not there, then the second one is definitely there. If the second is not there, the first is definitely there. Right. This was the example of if-else statement. I hope it is clear to you and you have no doubts, no questions. We will be doing more of these questions in our problem solving section. Then I guess if you even have a small doubt, then those will be cleared in the problem solving section. If-else statement. In this case, that if condition is evaluated first, if it is not satisfied, it goes to elif. If the elif is not satisfied, it goes to the next elif. It checks for the next elif, and if it is also not satisfied, it goes to next, and it keep going on until the else. So you can increase the number of time of elifs you want to increase in your program depending on how many conditions you have to give. Okay, let's have a look how if-elif-else statement is written down. So here we will be starting with if-elif-else statement. So if-elif-else statements. Let's have a look on how they are performed. First of all, I am considering the similar example that I have been using since session 1 of this module, which is our marks. So let's say someone has scored marks is equals to 75. Now I want to give a multiple conditions over here, that if marks are greater than 90, in that condition we will print 90 are really good marks, so a person can go to a trip for that. You can award a trip for that. So print you can go to a trip. Okay, if marks greater than let's say 80 and marks are lesser than 90. So we are giving a range over here that our marks are greater than 80 and also our marks are smaller than 90. Now what will happen in that case? We will print. So when it goes to the block of elif, it will check that if the marks are greater than 90. If it is not there, it will go to the next statement and check that if the marks are greater than 80. If it is greater, then it will also check that if it is greater than smaller than 90 as well. So it should satisfy both the condition that marks should be greater than 80 and at the same time they should be smaller than 90. So if marks are greater than 80 and they are smaller than 90, in that condition we'll stick to the phone part. So you will get a new phone. If you want to give more conditions over here, suppose if you want to end it over here, let's say you just write else. With else we never write any condition. I'm repeating again and again that else, with else we never write any condition. A lot of you make this mistake that people write conditions with the else. With else we never write any condition. Else is for something okay, if all of them is not satisfied, then it will do something, and that would be kept inside the else statement. So else So if it is not more than 90, if it is not more than 80, in that condition we will print no TV for a week or maybe for a month. Okay, let's see what happens when we run this program. It tells us no TV for a month. What if the marks are between 85 to 90? So let's say my marks are 82. If I run this code, you will get a new phone. So it checked for the first statement that okay, if the marks are more than 90, no, it is not more than 90, then it didn't execute this. It went to the next statement which says that if marks are more than 80 but also marks are less than 90. So in that condition, a person can buy a new phone, and that's how it has been executed. Similarly, more than 90, let's say 92, yes, we can go to a. So this is how if-elif-else statement is used. If you want to increase more conditions over here, what you can do, you can write elif marks are greater than 70 and marks are smaller than 80. So in that condition, we will add another print statement that no phone for a week. So depending on your choice, now let's consider a case of 75 marks, and this time if I run it, it tells me no phone for a week. So depending on your choice, depending on how many conditions you want to give, you can keep increasing the number of elifs you want to increase in a program. The first statement remains if, the last statement remains else, but in between, if you want to increase multiple statements, then you can just increase the number of elifs as much as you want. So I hope this if-elif-else statement is clear to you and you have no doubts and no questions. We will be learning about nested if statement. What is nested if statement in the terms of a definition? Here we have the whole definition on what is nested if statement, where if I explain it in a simple terms, it is that easy, that where computer executes one thing, but also if we give another condition that okay, if this thing also happened, we have another condition here which needs to be satisfied. So that is nested if statement, where we give condition inside a condition. Let's have a look at the example, that what example we can use as a nested if statement. So here we are going to discuss about nested if statement. So I'm going to write down nested if statement. Okay. So here I'll consider a condition, again the similar condition I'm going to use, that marks are is equals to 75. I'll give a if condition that if marks are greater than 80, in that condition print you will, or maybe we can just write good job this time, that good job, okay, followed by some explanation to make it like a good job. Now I want to give another condition here, that what if a person has scored more than 80 and scored more than, like not just 80 but also scored more than 90, like a good job for 80, but if it is more than 90, I'll say something else as well. If it is not more than 90, then I'll just stick to something else. So let's say I'm gonna write over here that if marks are greater than 90, in that condition we will print excellent work. Okay. Else print you can do better next time. This is for this if, that if it is more than 90, we will say excellent work. If it is in the case of 80 only, we are still sticking to 80, that the marks are 80. But inside the 80, if it is more than 90, we will tell them excellent work. If it is not more than 90, we will tell them you can do better next time. But what if marks are not 80 as well? So for that, we will write another else condition, where we can print please do better next time. So let's run and see what happens when we run this code. It says please do better next time. Let's say my marks are more than 80 this time. So I'll write over here 82. So that means it will satisfy the first condition, that is if marks are more than 80, but it won't satisfy the second condition, that is if marks are more than 90. So it will say you can do better next time, because we have given a condition that even if it is more than 80, If they are greater than 90, we will say excellent work. If they are not greater than 90, we will say you can do better next time. Right? So good job and you can do better next time. So if it is satisfying 80, then good job. And if it is not satisfying 90, it says you can do better next time. If it satisfied both the ifs, that means both the ifs we are using inside the nested loop, then let's say I have 95. And if I run it, it gives me good job and also excellent because it is satisfying our first condition, that is the mark should be more than 80. Also, it is satisfying the another condition that we have given in if, that if it is more than 80, is it more than 90 as well? Yes, it is more than 90 as well. That's why we are writing it. We get the excellent work over here. And if it is not more than 90, we can do better next time. Yeah. So this was the example of nested if statement where we have one if statement, inside that if statement we have another if statement. We'll be discussing shorthand if statement. Shorthand if statement is used when we only have one if statement to be executed. Then we don't have to write in two different lines. We can also use this method, shorthand if statement, where we can write our condition in the single line and also our print statement in the single line. Let's have a look on it, that how it is done. So here we will be talking about shorthand if statement. I'll write it over here, shorthand if statement. Okay. Shorthand if statement, I'll consider the similar example that we have been using before, that is marks is equal to 75. Now, we will write a condition over here that if marks are greater than 80, in that condition print good job. Now let me run this code. Okay, marks are not more than 75. Let's see with 85. It says good job. So here we can write the condition in one line. So we have two things. One is simple if statement where we can write the condition in the two different lines. It will also do the same thing, that good job. And this thing will also do the same thing, that after writing if marks are more than 80, we put a colon and write print good job. So this is called as shorthand if statement. It is just one another short method to write a single line condition. We will be also learning how we can write shorthand if-else statement. Shorthand if-else statement. If you want to become a successful data analyst or want to become a Python developer, and if you want to learn from our industry experts, then you can call on the given number or fill the form provided in our description. Not just that, with our every batch you will be getting 2 demo classes for free. So let's get started, guys. You can do it in one single line. Similarly, we have another similar method, which is shorthand if-else statement, where you can write if-else statement in one. So coming to the point of shorthand if-else statement, I'll also write it down over here. Shorthand if-else statement. Okay. Now let's see what happens in shorthand if-else statement. I'm considering the similar example that marks are is equals to 75. Now, how to write, what is the method to write shorthand if-else statement is, first we start with the print statement. That print, what we have to print? We have to print good job. Then we have to print this good job if the marks are greater than 80. We have to print this good job if our marks are greater than 80. If it is not greater than 80, in that condition, else we will be printing better luck next time. Okay. So here how I have written it down, I have written print good job. When I will print the good job, when the condition is that the marks are more than 80. If they are not more than 80, that is the else, we will print better luck next time. Let's see what happens. It says better luck next time because given here our marks are 75. At the same time, if I switch it to 83 and run the code, it tells me good job. That means our program is working. And this is how we can write a if-else statement in one single line. So these shorthand if statement and shorthand if-else statement were nothing but just the example or a different methods of how we learned if and if-else statement in the starting. It's just a short trick of doing it. how we can write a statement in one single line. Simple method, we just have to write the print, what we want to write. If that condition is satisfied, I will be writing a condition after writing what needs to be done. So if the condition is satisfied, what needs to be done has to be written first. Second thing is the condition itself. Third thing is if it is not satisfied, what will happen, that is the else, and again what will happen will be written down. So print good job if marks are more than 80, else print better luck next time. This is your single line shorthand if else statement, which is conditional statement. So in this we have over here, so in front of me we have 5 problems. We will be solving all of them one by one. So let's have a look. Okay. So here our first question says write a program to check if a number is positive. Okay, so we have to give a condition to check whether a number is positive. Okay, first of all, let's create a variable. I'm calling it a number, num, or we can write the whole thing as well, number. Number is equals to, we're talking about positive and negative, so I'll take first number as -7. Okay, I'll give a condition over here as we are talking about conditional statements. The question is very simple, that we have to check if a number is positive. Only one statement is required, that is if number. How to check if a number is positive or not? All the numbers that are greater than 0 are positive numbers, and all the numbers that are smaller than 0 are negative numbers. So if a number is greater than 0, in that condition we will print number is positive. So here it's done. Let's run and see what happens. Nothing happens because our number is not positive. Let's say instead of -7, I'll only write 7 and run this program. It says number is positive. So previously the number was not positive because it was -7. Now it is positive. That's why it's printing it that the number is positive. Okay. We can also use our shorthand if method over here. So for that we only need to write if number is greater than 0. In that condition, print number is positive. Let's run and see. So in both the cases, it should write number is positive, number is positive. I'll write one of them is capital N so that it will be easy for you to differentiate which one is which one. And if I run it, it gives me number is positive and small n number is positive. That means both our statements are working. So it is totally up to you whichever method you want to go with. If you want to write if and then print in a different line, or if you want to use the shorthand if statement method, then you can use this method as well. So this is our next question, where we are going to write a program to check whether a number is odd or even. To check whether a number is odd and even, we will be taking help of our conditional statements. So we know that a number can be either odd or even. If it is odd, it cannot be even, and if it is even, it cannot be odd. So we will be using our if-else statement over here. First of all, let's create a variable number. Number is equals to 34, let's say, and I will be writing a condition that if, first of all, if, then whatever our condition is. Now, how can we say if our number is odd or even? To check if a number is odd or even, we will use a modulus sign over here, that if our number, let's say 34, when divided by 2 gives the remainder 0, in that condition we will print it is an even number. So we all know that if a number when divided by 2 gives the remainder 0, then it is an even number, because all the even numbers are the multiples of 2. So whenever they will be divided by 2, it will give us the remainder 0. So here we have written if number when divided by 2 gives the remainder 0, it is an even number. Else, with else, we never write any condition, and directly we can print it is an odd number. Now let's run our program and see how does it works. Okay, our number is an even number. At the same time, if I write 33 or 333 and run this program, it tells me it is an odd number, because once we divide 333 by 2, it will not give us a remainder 0, it will give us a remainder 1, which is not an even number. Okay, There is another method of doing it, that is our shorthand if-else method. Let's have a look on shorthand if-else method. So shorthand if-else statement. How shorthand if-else statement will be used? We will be writing print. What we are going to print? Print it is an even number when it will be printed if number divided by 2 is equal to 0. Okay. Else we will print it is an odd number. Now let's run and see. So for the shorthand method, I will also print over here that this is method. So let's run and see. This is shorthand method. Our shorthand method also says that it is an odd number, and our method that we normally use also says that it is an odd number. At the same time, if I switch it to any even number, let's say 56, and run it, both our methods will tell us that it is an even number. With the shorthand if-else statement method, it also tells us that it is an even number. So we have solved this problem with both the methods. Now let's hop on to next problem. So this is our question number 3, which says to write a program to create a mini calculator. So let's create a mini calculator. To create a mini calculator, we need two numbers over here, one number 1 and another number 2, and we will be applying mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division onto those two numbers. Okay. For the mathematical applications, we will be asking for the user input as well, that if they want to add, subtract, multiply or divide. So first of all, let's start with printing mini calculator over here. So I'm going to write print mini calculator. Okay. We will be asking for the operations they want to do, or we can first ask for the numbers they want to do, you want to use. Okay. So number 1 is equals to, you can take the input in integer or float according to your choice. I will be taking it in float because while dividing it throws in errors. So here I will be using float. Input, enter a number here. Num2 is equals to float. Input, enter another number here. Once we have got both of these numbers, we will be asking the user that what operations they want to apply on these two numbers. So choice is equals to, first of all, let's give them the choices, that print, and I'll be using triple quotations over here for writing our choices. So I'll write press 1 for addition, press 2 for subtraction, press 3 for multiplication, and press 4 for division. Right? Once we have given these 4 choices to the user, we will be asking for the input. So choice is equals to int. Now the choices is 1, 2, 3, 4. Very clear, it's an integer. So I'll be writing int. Input, enter your choice from 1 to 4. Right? We have used integer over here because choices are from 1 to 4. We don't need a float over here. That's why we are using integers over here. Now, depending on the choice of the user, whether they want to use addition, they want to do subtraction, multiplication and division, depending on their choice, we will be giving this conditional statement. That what happens if they choose 1, what happens if they choose 2, what happens if they choose 3 and 4. Right? So let's start with if statement. Here it is, I guess it is very clear to you all that here we will be using if-elif-else statement. So if choice is equal to 1, that if a person chooses 1, in that condition what we will do, we will print the addition of number 1 and number 2. So print number, or we can also write over here the addition of two numbers is, and I'll put a comma in between and write over here number 1 plus number 2. You can store it in a variable and then use it as well. Totally choice is up to you. So if you want to do it in this way, that sum is equals to number 1 plus number 2, and instead of writing whole thing over here, instead of writing whole thing over here, we can simply write sum. I think this looks more aesthetic. So if choice is equals to 1, we will be printing the sum of the two numbers for them. Elif, now for the second choice, second condition, we will be writing elif. So elif choice equals to, in that condition, we will write over here, so I'll create any variable, let's say. So subtract is equal to number 1 minus number 2. Okay, and print the subtraction of two numbers is, I put a comma and write subtract. Similarly, elif choice is equals to 3. So next is our multiplication, that we need to multiply the two numbers. Again, I'm gonna create a variable called as product. That product is equals to number 1 multiply by number 2, and we will print over here that multiplication, or we can write the product of two numbers is, I'll put a comma in between and write our variable product. Similarly, I'll do the same elif. I'm not writing else over here because people might make mistake, they might misunderstood things and write any other number other than 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm leaving else for that. So elif choice is equals to 4. That is our division. So division is equals to number 1 divided by number 2. So here we will be writing print the division of the two numbers is, I'll put a comma in between and write division here. And lastly, the else, that if someone writes anything other than 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3 and 4, so in that condition we will print for them invalid input. Now I guess my program is done, and let's run it and have a look on it. It says enter a number here. Let's say I'm writing 24. I want to subtract it, so I'll remove 4 from it. And what are the operators that I want to use on it? So I want to subtract, and I'll write 2. It gives me the subtraction of two numbers is 20.0, 20.0. Why? Because we have used a float. Yes, it's giving us the correct output. Let's try it with another number. I'll run the code, enter a number here, 3. Enter another number here, let's say 5. 3 times 5 is 15. We know that. Let's see if our program also knows that. Yes, 3 times 5 is 15. Next, I'll run the code once again, and this time I'm going to divide. So 10, and 10 when divided by 2 give the quotient 5. So let's write 4 over here. And yes, the division of the two numbers is 5. And lastly, let's check for addition as well. My number is, let's say, 12. Another number is 8. We know that 12 plus 8 is 20. Let's see if our computer knows it as well. Yes, so our program is working perfectly fine. This is how we can create a mini calculator. You can ask for the user input from the for the numbers from the user. Then you can ask them what operation they want to apply on it. You can switch the places of these things. You can, if you want, you can ask for the operations first, then ask for the user input. So it is totally up to you what operations you want to do on it and where you want to put on. And we can use multiple statements over here like if, elif, 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 and else. So yes, it's another example of how we can write if, elif, else statement. I hope this question was clear to you. So if it is clear, let's quickly hop on to another question. So in this question number 4, we can see it says that write a program to check whether the past letter is a vowel or not. So we know all the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. All we need to do is write a condition to check whether a letter that is written by us or we have taken it as an input from the user is a vowel or not. So in this case, I will just take a letter. Letter is equals to A. For checking if this letter is present inside A, E, I, O, U or not, I will be writing a condition that if letter A, so letter in A, E, I, O, U. So what we need to do, we just need to check that if the letter is in A, E, I, O, U, we will print it is vowel. If it is not there, that means else, we will print it is not vowel. Now let's run and see. It says it is a vowel. At the same time, if I write any alphabet like Z, it says it is not a vowel because it is not there in A, E, I, O, U. So any letter that is there in A, E, I, O, U will get that it is a vowel, while any letter which is other than A, E, I, O, U will get it is not a vowel. Okay. This was our question number 4 and I hope you understood it. I guess now conditional statements are much more clear to you because so far we have done many questions on it. Moving ahead, we have like one last question which is on conditional statements, and I hope all your doubts are also cleared after solving these questions. Our last final question on conditional statement says that write a program to check if a number is a single digit number, 2-digit number, and so on up to 5 digits. Okay, so we have to check if a number that is given by the user, is it a single number, it is a double digit number, is it a triple digit number, 4-digit number, 5-digit number. So up to 5 digits we have to check. So here we will take a variable called as number. Number is equals to, let's say as of now our number is 13. We will start with giving the conditions over here. Our first condition would be if condition, and what condition we will be writing, how we will decide if a number is a single digit number. So we all know that all the numbers which are greater than and equal to 0 are a single digit number, which that should also be smaller than and equal to 9. So all the number more than 0 and 0 itself and less than 9 and 9 itself are the single digit number. So we will be writing a condition over here that if a number is greater than and equal to 0 and a number is smaller than and equal to 9, in that condition we will print that number is a single digit number. And if our next condition would be for the 2-digit numbers, we all know all the 2-digit numbers starts from 10 and ends on 99. So if our number is greater than and equal to 10 and our number is smaller than and equal to 99, in that condition we will print number is a double digit number. Similarly, elif, so we have to do it up to 5 digits. 3-digit numbers are starts from 100, ends on 999. So number is greater than and equal to 100 and our number is smaller than and equal to 999. In that condition, we will be printing number is a 3-digit number, right? Similarly, we'll be doing for the 4-digit number that elif number is greater than and equal to 1000 and so end here indicates that it should satisfy both the condition. The number should also be greater than 1000 and should be smaller than 9999. So it should be smaller than and equal to 9999. Okay, in that condition we will print number is a 4-digit number. And lastly, our else. So if it is not 1, 2, 3, 4, so as we are taking the example of up to 5 digits only, so we will be assuming that okay, the user or the person is also going to give it up to 5 digits. So else directly we will print that our number is a 5-digit number. Okay. So let's run the program and see. So right now the number is 13. 13 is a double-digit number. One at the same time, if I write 113 and run it, it's a 3-digit number. If I keep it as 1 only, it is a single-digit number. If I write 1111 and run it, it tells us that it is a 4-digit number. Similarly, if I add another 1 to it, it tells me that it is a 5-digit number. So our program is done where we just had to write a number and check if it was a single-digit number, double, triple, 4 or up to 5-digit numbers. So these were some problems that we solved in our conditional statements. I hope all your doubts are now clear. Stay connected and I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.